Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another show. My name is Tyler, and I'm here with Matt, the founder of ORATS. ORATS is an options analytics platform built on top of over 15 years of historical options data. Our dashboard is integrated with Tradier, meaning you can research and discover trades on our platform and then seamlessly send them through to your Tradier brokerage account. Today on the show, we're going to be showing you a little bit about what we have in store for 2026 and what we have planned for ORATS and the dashboard. Matt, do you want to share your screen and get us started?
Yeah, so Happy New Year to everybody. And we figured this is a good time to look forward to a big year. We had a great year last year at ORATS. Our clients, we received some of the nicest emails about our platform and our data and everything. So we're continuing to push for the best tools and data, trying to level the field between the big institutional firms and the people that are likely subscribers, more individuals and high pro tail, and we do have some firms as well. We're actually getting more firms now that our tools have really approved. So we want to go through, and I have a development version here that we can look at some of the things that are close, and then also talk about some of the things that we'll be working on later. And we'll look forward to any notes from you sent to support@orats.com, talking about things that you're looking for. How's that, Tyler?
It was a great overview. 2026 is going to be a great year for the dashboard, and we're excited to show you guys a lot of new features we're working on, as well as just some improved help and navigation and kind of a lot of things like that. And we definitely welcome your feedback. We're a very user-driven company, so if you guys have feedback on the tools, we'd be happy to hear it, either live on the show, or you can email us at support@orats.com.
And the big thing that we hear is like, hey, listen, you guys have so much, it's a little bit overwhelming. So the first thing that we're working on is to, first of all, have an understandable walk through of all of our tools and charts and data, but then also provide the kind of tour through our product that will make it easier and more personalized, because we have so many different types of traders that come in that and we've been in business for so long that we have great tools for all types of traders, and we want to bring it together all under one roof, because even if you start doing a certain thing, you will most likely be looking at other things as well, and so we want to be able to present all of this to users in order to get them up and going. And the first thing that I just want to show is Otto. You could ask Otto almost anything, and they do a very good job, and that's going to be improved over the coming year. So Tyler, why don't you talk about Otto a little bit?
Yeah, so Otto is an AI chatbot, but it's preloaded with a lot of information from ORATS. So we fed it all the university content. If you guys haven't checked that out, that's our 15 course kind of lesson plan on everything from ORATS, kind of the methodology, everything about our indicators, the 4 pillars approach that we're sort of pushing in the dashboard, and that kind of stuff. So we fed all that information. We've fed it frequently asked questions, and it just knows a lot of stuff. We've also fed it all the videos that we do on this show, and some others. So it has access to those videos and can sort of recommend certain deep dives, the deep dives that we do here on the show, to you as you're chatting to Otto. So it has access to all the videos, all the university content, some blog posts, frequently asked questions. And on top of all that, it can query certain data depending on your permission status, if you've been approved for live data or not, if you've signed the agreements. So It can query some live data. It can query historical data, and kind of mix, blend all that together to give you a pretty good answer. So those are the highlights of Otto. We don't offer investment advice, nor does Otto, and we put that disclaimer at the top. We also don't claim that it's going to answer things 100% correctly all the time. It's generally correct, but it's important to sort of use common sense, and also try not to uh, kind of go down a rabbit hole where there can be a lot of stuff like that. So that's kind of how Otto's been developed and how people use it. And it's great to see everybody using it. There's suggested questions at the bottom as well, and they're contextually driven based on your conversation. So if you're talking about double calendar backtesting, the suggested questions will be some sort of smart follow-up to what you've already been talking about. So I find that to be really helpful when I'm in the context of a conversation. Did I miss anything there, Matt?
Well, where is Otto going? I mean, are we gonna,
Yeah.
MPC and all that? Like, what are we pointing at for 2026?
In 2026, Otto is going to take a front seat. I think it's going to get even better as the AI models improve, but we're going to add some scaffolding on top of that to make it easier for you guys to access Otto. So I think there's potential for us to pull it out of the dashboard and be accessible to you guys kind of on a kind of like an API would be. So where you guys can get a token and use it in your own workflows. I think that's where it could be. That sort of on a technical level, that means we would be developing MCPs, if any of you guys are familiar with that, and that's kind of the bridge between the AI and our APIs. So connecting your favorite AI model to our APIs is kind of where I think Otto could be in 2026. In terms of the dashboard, it's just going to progressively get more context on what you're doing. So I think we can have it access your saved scans and your saved backtests and also your trading style. I think we want to personalize it more, and make it feel more like a trading assistant. So you can come to ORATS and have it feel very natural. Tell it what you want to do, and you sort of just get started a lot faster. So I think those are kind of the main things I want to focus on with Otto in 2026.
No, that's a really good overview. I appreciate that. And my favorite thing that I've been using, and this is not too far away, is the automate, and that's what we've titled this video as the automating your trading strategies. And so, the very cool thing about ORATS is clearly that we have so many backtests there that you could look at. And then you could also go in and figure out, how to time when to get in and out of certain backtests. Here's the forecast of infinite or long-term volatility divided by kind of the actual volatility. So that would be a timing for just kind of an iron condor that came across my trade ideas. If you look at implementation trade ideas, and then you could go, okay, so let's just say I like this strategy. All the green areas are when you would be in this trade. So actually, right now there's no green area, so you wouldn't be in this trade. But let's just continue. So I would save this. So I just did a couple clicks, found an indicator that I liked. It improved my stats. So before the stats, I was making 0.017% per day, and now it's almost doubled certainly. And so our annual return margin, you could see all the returns. The greens are better and the reds are worse. It's hard to look at margin return because it's cut down the time in the market, so you're not going to have as good of returns. But I always look at the percent per day, because that's when I'm going to be in it, and so that's what I like to look at. So then you would save that particular back test, this diamond iron condor, and then you could go to your saved back tests, and you could look for it here. I have so many, so I just type in diamond iron condor, and this is it right here. So it tells you, I'm sorry, right here. It tells you what the indicators were, and then it shows you the percent per day, which we saw. There's a p-value that's pretty high, that's very high. So not the greatest one. We have with curated strategies. People ask about curated strategies, and curated strategies are the ones that we work on, looking at thousands and thousands of different strategies. Here are a couple of curated strategies in there that with better sharps and etc. But what you can do now, and what you want to do when you're trading, is you want to get a good back test, but you also want to forward test it. So you want a p, so the p value, and maybe you can help me with this, Tyler. But it does kind of Monte Carlo simulations in it, and it has a rating between basically 0 and 1, the lower the better, of what the percentage of the returns are due to chance. And so you want that due to chance number be lower, hopefully in the 1 to 10s, but it depends. Sometimes it's hard to find that p-value that's that low.
Yeah.
When you do find something, that's usually a good start. But then what I want to do is I want to say, well, then we have this new thing where you could, put a rocket on it. Rocket meaning, that now turns in, or that will eventually very, very soon in the dashboard to turn into an auto-traded strategy. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, before we kind of jump into auto trading and what that means, I just want to kind of clear up at a high level the workflow here. A lot of customers, a lot of our clients come to ORATS to backtest, right? And we do have custom backtesting, but I want to clarify kind of at a high level what we encourage our users to do with the technology we've built with the Backtest Finder and the Optimizer. So if you come into ORATS, you can launch a custom backtest through the custom backtest tab on the dashboard. And if you want more customization, you can use the legacy backtester, which you might be familiar with if you've been a long-time ORATS client. Now, in addition to this, we've also run over 300 million backtests already, and we've put them into a table for you to sort through and filter and browse and search to kind of get what you need. It's already done. You don't have to worry about all the path dependency issues, the overfitting, and tweaking the entry and exit criteria, because we've already done that. So that's kind of the workflow we encourage, is look through the backtest finder first, find something that's close to what you want, and then what you can do is optimize it. And that's something that's very technically complex, but I think we've made it really easy for you to go in there and quickly see which of the ORATS indicators can improve the stats of this backtest by just modifying when it enters and exits. And so I just kind of wanted to clarify it, like a high level, what the auto trading sort of entails. And that's what it is. It's going from the all back tests to the optimizer, finding something that works for you. And then instead of monitoring it yourself, you can just send it off to the paper trader and you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's a good explanation, Tyler. And the way that I like to do it now too is, we have this where you could go in and find symbols that you like, find strategies that you like, find then the actual backtest that you like, and then you could take it one more step, like Tyler said, like I did. I sent this to the I sent this to the optimize, and then it will go in and you click add data set, and it will find, like Contango might be a good entry point for this particular strategy. So that's one of the ways that you could do it. I like to look at the trade ideas. Now, the trade ideas, what it does is it goes in and it does some of that for me. Like if I'm feeling lazy, it goes in, it will find the best trades, the best back test. And so you could look at it this way too. So just a different way to do it. And then you could go view a particular back test, and then you can just save it right out, right? Or you can try to find, something that has a decent p-value. And if this one's pretty high, so you might not do it, but you might still like the back test. You could still just save that. And then it goes to your save back test, and then you could go run that save back test. So, and the cool thing about the save back test and running those is I have, then in my risk, so I have these positions, I have different actual trading accounts, but I also have an auto trade paper trading. You could get a regular paper trading where you do it manually, but you could also have, an auto traded paper trading account, which is nice. And then you can, go ahead and see how those positions pan out, as you're starting to trade those, which is such a great feature, because you do want to test things as much as possible. You don't just kind of overfit a back test and assume that's going to work. It takes a lot of work to find a good, especially automated positions that you can use to make money trading. And so ORATS has a lot of data here that you could go in and find your niche. And but having a way to identify strategies and then have it auto trade, you could see how it works over a lot of time. And so that's what we're doing here. And then another cool thing is just the ability to then review how you've done, look in the trade journal, and I need to enable that for this development environment, and go look at how particular trades have done. And if you see that, then that's just that's like the whole thing that you want to see, Tyler.
Yeah, and I think what we're planning for 2026 is kind of merging the past, present, future, I guess is kind of how I like to call it. Like if you think about the save backtest as being sort of the history and the optimizations and the backtest that you've done, and then the present being the trade ideas and the scanning that you're doing live every minute of the day. We have that in the trade ideas and the implementation pillar. And then the future being sort of your continuous monitoring of the risk and the performance of those strategies that you've designed. So I think in 2026, we'll have a dashboard that sort of merges those together into a cohesive view that you can see really clearly at a glance. I'd like to see all this at a glance rather than have to, go through 5 different tabs.
Yeah, definitely. And, especially when you start to, personalize it, and then you could just see everything that you want to do here.
Right.
So I have to go pretty shortly, but is there anything else that you want to say that we could wrap this up, Tyler?
No, I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting year for the dashboard. A lot of improvements to Otto, a lot of improvements to the paper trading and all that, the auto trading that you've mentioned. We're going to get it, real good for you guys to test your strategies in the real world and sort of iterate on them. That process is going to become a lot easier and faster. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nice job. I mean, awesome job this year on the dashboard and everything. And I mean, next year's is gonna even dwarf a lot of this stuff. Is it's going to, we wanted to get a lot of this stuff in, and now we're going to get it where it's a lot easier to use, and where you could also, so many people are using Otto and AI that we can now access all of this data with AI. In the coming year, we're going to have so much power in this, and then really do things the right way, meaning, have a ton of data to test things out, have data that's not normal data, meaning like these forecasts and everything, and be able to use those to identify entry and exit points. And then, so you're not overfitting. You could use your p-values, and so you could even know more is auto trade those for a while and make sure that the back test is matching what you have in your trade journals. And then you could really get, as much confidence as you could get in these types of trades, and then you put them together. And then the big thing that I like, Tyler, is then, looking at these positions in the risk, so how do we, like right now my deltas are very short and I have a lot of theta. So, I might want to put on some trades that, offset those. So you want to not only do these individual strategies, but your macro position overall, I think you want to balance those types of things. I mean, unless you're a really good market projection person, I think that you want to kind of flatten out some of your Greeks up here. So here's my delta. I'm very short right now in this particular position, and here are my positions in the ORATS paper trading. And, if I click off my diamonds, I'm still short. If I click off my EEM, then it's just the Qs there, and that's flat. So, a lot of my problem is coming from EEM, for example. So I could kind of drill down to that. So it's, not only are we looking at individual, how strategies work, but, like what you want to do is kind of combine these together and get the edge. And like I said, then what I'm doing, I've found some pretty good ones, and then I could go into, into my my other, Interactive Brokers, TradeStation, Trader, all these people that we are able to trade through. Then I could put my trades, specifically into those types of brokers. So it's just so cool where it's come to now, Tyler.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to build is we're going to use Otto and kind of merge it with a lot of these tools and personalize it so that you can start to get a lot of these, a lot of analysis on your portfolio risk in a very easy way, rather than having to understand all the complexities of the tooling. And I know how complicated it is to sometimes learn a new tool and learn your way around it, but Otto's made that easier, and we're going to continue to make that easier in 2026.
Absolutely. And then, just the payoff picture here is so cool to see this in the setup trades that could help you, offset some of the overall risks. Look at the Greeks here. I'm sure this is the EEM that I'm short deltas with. So it's nice to be able to check that out.
Yeah. I love the new risk profile. It's been out for, I think, only like 2 or 3 weeks now. So give it a shot and see what you guys think.
All right, great. All right, I got to jump, but thanks a lot, Tyler, and thanks to Trader again for a great year.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Nice work, and thank you, Trader, for hosting us this last year, and we look forward to another great year of shows. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to support@orats.com, and we're happy to hear questions or even suggestions that you have about the show and what you want to see. All right, thanks, Matt, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Thanks, Tyler.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.